I'm asking of all of you to seek who you believe, because didn't we sound very beautiful this morning? Eh? Giving God the glory, calling Him to be our supreme, our wisdom, our hope. Yeah. And so this morning, I shaking because I'm going to be accountable for everything that comes out of my mouth as unto my God and unto my people. Who's my people? All people. But since the Hawaiian um, charter says, or revised statute says, that this organization was to help Hawaiians, I pray that your decision today would not only put us forward, because when we sing in a language that the whole world loves, they know aloha come from. And only one nation on the face of this planet God used to create the word aloha. And so you are our voice. Trustee Lindsay, Machado, Apo, Wahe, Isa, and Judge, Representative Klein, or Justice, Akina, Kana, Lindsay, Ahuna, come out. That God would bring down His Holy Spirit and you would make a clear, conscious vote. Knowing this, that what happened last week can happen at any time. And that's a lot of power. At any time, because unprecedented, somebody is removed. So know this, everybody is on watch now. Because it's unprecedented move that he's in his position, unprecedented move that you're in your position. Yeah, knowing that at any time should be, if majority can remove anybody from that chair. So I pray for a holy conviction and a holy revelation that whoever is chosen as the chairperson and its co-chair will coexist together like a marriage and a covenant to work on the benefit of the people of the nation and the state of Hawaii. And with this, I bless you. Let the Lord's blessing come upon all of you, that His countenance may shine upon you, and that He grant you shalom, shalom. He grant you peace. He grant you His wisdom for a most difficult decision that you all may have to endure today. So that when everybody else here on the news, because my hair here, everybody here, yeah, that they can see that this organization is right with one another. And we're going all along. God bless you.
Mahalo, Nathan.
Aloha. No. So I'll give a full disclosure, but aloha, chair, aloha, trustees,
Aloha,
justice,
Lando.
Mana'o, gallery, my children and family who are watching at home. Daddy loves you. Um, so in full disclosure, my name is Landon Paikai. In 2014, I ran as a candidate for the Office of Foreign Affairs, trustee at large. Unsuccessful, but successful in a sense. We ran a great campaign. The purpose of our campaign was to educate non-Hawaiians and Hawaiians alike about what the Office of Foreign Affairs does for the community at large, especially for the Hawaiian people. Yes, Nathan Paikai is my blood relative. He is my uncle. My dad is number 5 of 17. He is number 9. And yes, my mother does work here. So I come to you today as a beneficiary, but also as a beneficiary of the employment of OHA. Some of you guys, the last name you guys can, I won't disclose her name, but most of you guys know who she is. She's beloved here, and she loves what she does. So as a beneficiary, I see the strength that OHA has, the strength in their employees, the strength in the people who are employed here, the people who come to work, who are your foot soldiers. I see that strength. I don't see the pilikia that we see here, the pilikia that the media wants to portray. I don't see that. I come here as a beneficiary two times. In 1983, when I was born, my mom was working here. She was in her first tour here. And I remember being in her cubicle some days, hiding under, and just being quiet because she didn't have someone to take care of me or watch me. And now I sit here, I sit here in front of you today with the spirit of gratitude. I come not judging, I just come to thank you. Thank you for the opportunities that you have presented before you. This new this new start that we're talking about, and unfortunately things happen. But this new fresh start that we're here to undergo today is very pertinent. And the responsibility that you carry, responsibility that you carry in making decisions that affect the greater population is heavy. And I've sat in 5 meetings so far, and I've got to see the inner workings of the board. So I know that the board can do things, and you can work together. And I've seen it. And so my testimony and my comment today is just to reiterate that as we move forward, remember the responsibility that you carry as trustees. People elected you and put you in office for this purpose. And as a beneficiary, what I decided was I'm going to come here and tell you what I plan to do as a beneficiary. And as a beneficiary, I plan and I pledge to support you, however that may be. I may not always vote for you. The cause might sometimes go against me, but I still stand in support, in solidarity with you. We may have differing opinions, we come from different backgrounds, but again, I stand in solidarity. I also pledge in my personal time to keep you in prayer. Again, the responsibility that you carry, you cannot imagine. You guys do this year round. Some of our legislators, they just do this for 4 months, 5 months at a time. But you see what happens on the daily. And so I implore you as trustees to take that responsibility when you elect this new chair. The responsibilities that you carry as the board of trustees is very, very important, and it plays a role. I just gave a shout out to my children. The decisions you make here affect them as well. They are Hawaiian, but they are also of Japanese blood. They're half Japanese. But they are so proud to be Hawaiian. They're so proud. Something that I wasn't proud of growing up, honestly. But again, I humbly submit my commentary to you today that I will support you in whatever way that I can support you. But also, remember the responsibility that you carry. It is a heavy responsibility. I came 5 meetings. Every time I went home, I had to go do something to cleanse myself. Whether it was jumping in the ocean, pa'ikai, ocean. I mean, that's me, jump in the ocean and become one again with the ocean and just release everything that happened, that occurred in the meetings. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I don't envy your position. I do not. And so I respectfully submit my commentary. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Milan.
Mahalo, Janine.
Aloha trustees.
Aloha, Adrian.
I would like, Madam Chair, I would like to acknowledge my disclaimer or conflict of interest. There's none. I don't know none of you. As I said yesterday, I've never known you. I've only known you from what I read and, of course, how I vote on my ballot. So I want to say that first. And secondly, you all know that I sent you an email with attachments regarding my written testimony. And I want to say, preface to reading just that email, that because because I can't share the attachments with everyone, but you have it, that I know of Dr. Kanoy, and she worked with Y9 96792 at the Y9 Intermediate Project. She received grant and she used it wisely. I saw that unfold before me. And then, from Kahe to Kaena, got the most Hawaiians in the world. Yeah. So I live in Nanakuli, as I told you. But yet in Nanakuli, I saw grants given to organizations in Nanakuli, and kikis and kuponas mean so much to me. They're the most vulnerable. We're all 18 when we're not victims. When we're 0 to 18, we are vulnerable. And when we're kuponas, we're vulnerable, but we're not victims. But yet in Nanakuli, when they receive grants, they abused it. And so that's why I'm in support of a audit, because it's got to show if there is abuse, got to stop it. We saw what happened to Sandwich Isle. I'm not making any claims of anyone here, but what I am saying is it happens. So we got to protect for our kupuna and our keikis of the future, and that's why I come. My mom is a kupuna. So as I stated, my written testimony for today to you is, my name is Jermaine Myers. I provided beneficiary testimony, sorry, on February 2nd in support of Chairman and Trustee Rowena Akana. I also provided testimony, who's my kupuna as well. Majority of you are my kupunas. I also provided testimony today, February, thank you, 8, as to why that was yesterday. I believe Trustee Dan Ahuna made various contradictory statements, aloha his mom, in making his point about why the board members should remove Trustee Akana from the chairmanship position. During that time, I provided evidence of contradictory statements, behavior made by the trustees that supported Trustees Ahuna motion to remove Trustee Akana from the chairmanship position. She was being claimed to be derelict, but yet you guys were the ones I saw being derelict. Also, how these trustees walked out of a board meeting in mid-January in protest that the beneficiaries should be allowed to voice their concerns to the board, and then boycott a second meeting 2 weeks later in protest of the agenda action item as reported to the beneficiaries at the 9 a.m. meeting by Trustee Ahuna. I shared today how these trustees negatively influenced the young beneficiaries. Again, I would like to share verbatim what this young, thank you, what this young leader said at a 10 a.m. meeting in February 2nd, on February 2nd. Even if not on the agenda, we should be able to speak about it. Whether I want to talk about rockets or space, in space, or dogs on the moon, elected officials should have to listen to what we say. We should still be able to talk about it. Kamana'o, keep his job. He didn't take the money. Again, nobody accused anyone of taking anything. I witnessed people taking money. I have attached a Hawaii News Now 2014 report that was on the television news and posted in written form on their website. I highlighted the contradiction of Trustee Colette Machado and other trustees. Why didn't you accept beneficiary testimony in 2014 but did not support Chairman Rowena Akana in January 2017? In addition, I attached a copy of Dr. Crab's profile on OHA's website, which talks about integrity. And it's interesting that Hawaii News Now, who reported that, as you see in my attachment, they're here today, so they know about the contradictions as well. You guys making us look bad when you guys don't want to with each other, and yet you come over and you attack Chairman Akana. I would like to also share with you other contradictions by trustees that voted Trustee Rowena Akana out of the chairmanship position. Attaches an article posted in January 2015 titled, OHA Chair Lindsay rescinded CEO's authority. Finally, I would like to point out that 163,743 registered voters elected Trustee Akina in the 2016 general election results attached. In addition, Trustee Akina answered the 3 questions of community members solicited by OHA, see attachment. Incumbent Trustee Apoliona answered the same questions and talked about Trustee Akina's connection to the Grassroots Institute. Yet, the voters elected Trustee Akina. Trustee Akina has been transparent from the very beginning. I notice you continue to waste valuable board meeting time discussing your objections to his transparency. Do you also reject my intelligence and the intelligence of other beneficiaries and the choice the voters made who elected him? Should we question the voters that elected you? To understand Trustee Robert Lindsay's position on the same questions, I also attached his answers for your consideration. In closing, and in consideration of the above and the attachments, sorry for going over time, I am at the end. I am asking for your support at tomorrow's board restructure meeting, or today, at 10 o'clock, to vote for Trustee Rowena Akana to be reinstated to the chairman of board position, because I believe you will ho'oponopono and make right the wrong you made, and to vote for Trustee Carmen Hulu Lindsay, because I don't trust us Aho Isa, who tells me to go ask the auditor for my audit report, to be the new vice chair of the board. Mahalo, and with kind aloha, Jermaine Myers, beneficiary. Nanakuli Zaban Beach, here I come. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Adrian. Mahalo.
Anyone else? The names I have on a list. Anyone else wants to testify? No. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us. There's a draft approval of the minutes. Judge Analiza.
So move, Madam Chair.
Second.
Waihe'e. Roll call on approval of the minutes, please.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. We have January 3rd, January 4th, new business reorganization of the Board of Trustees. A proposal that wants to, as the acting chair, I am 100% Democratic in my and Trustee Alpo helped craft this proposal too. 100% democratic process in the open, all the public can see, so that we don't have any accusations on who lobbied who and who's cutting deals. Each trustee, and it was also presented to Justice Klein. He approved how we're going to do this because he's going to be the one counting. Step 1, ballot nomination. Each trustee submits a nomination ballot containing the name of the person they want to nominate. It's okay if the trustee nominates himself. Step 2, clerk reads the nominations. Any trustee who is nominated does not want to be considered to be a chair can request their name be withdrawn. 3, each nominated trustee is then provided with an opportunity, about 5 to 10 minutes, to discuss, address the board in public about the value they bring to OHA, what their vision is, what their future, how they perceive they can help us as the chair. 4, if more than 2 names are placed into the nomination, then successive ballots are voted. So we keep doing this, then we vote on the nominees after they speak. And then the next 2 end up, say we have more than 2 nominations. The next 2, then successive ballots are voted, with the person receiving the lowest number of votes being eliminated until the ballot contains 2 final names. The 2 final names will then have a second opportunity to address the board again. Another 5 minutes each, and a final ballot is then taken, and the winner assumes the chair. Does that sound fair? Do I have to vote on this, Judge, or it's my call? Is it okay? It's okay? Okay. Okay, by acclamation, right, the judge. Oh, any objection? Because the press is watching, and we want to show them, and our keiki and our students who might be watching, what a democratic process is. And we are number 1 in that area, I feel. Okay, lady? Will you pass it all out already? Where's my sheet? Oh. Everybody has a sheet.
Trustee Danahuna, Trustee Leahu Isa, Trustee Hulu Lindsay, and Trustee Colette Machado. So if anyone wishes to withdraw their name from consideration, they could do it now.
Could you repeat that list?
Trustee Danahuna, Trustee Leahu Isa, Trustee Hulu Lindsay, and Trustee Colette Machado.
Thank you.
So if no one wishes to withdraw, I guess we have speeches.
Okay, we have four names, and for them to go in the order.
Leahuna.
Una.
Hello, everyone. Um, First of all, I just want to acknowledge my mom who is here. Born and raised Papakalea. Renette, please stand up. Single mom, you know, raised champions, literally. Um, no, Little League, high school sports, college national championships. There's a lot that she can be proud of.
My
Um,
sister, Tita, she worked with me at HB.
yeah, and she's also the AD at Puno. Um, but for me, I'm gonna speak about Dana Huna.
Okay.
All my life was Tita Ahuna. No, I just want to thank all of you because character and values is built on foundation, and I'm so happy to have my mom here. Um, I've been speaking to stability, and I just want you guys to know that stability is the key to everything. When you see successful organizations like the New England Patriots, what I see is stability. And the reason why I say stability is the most important thing is this is how things work. This is how we get along. This is how we are not divided, like what Uncle said today, Nathan, when he was talking about we're split. It's like night and day, black and white. Whenever somebody like put on their light, we get darkness. Um, and sometimes we see the darkness as the dark when it should be the light, and sometimes the light, so we don't know what side we on or anything, but it's split all the time. I just want the people to know that today, what you see, everybody is calm. There is stability here. And sometimes to achieve that takes hard work, and you have to go there to actually go do the job. There's a gap. It's not always nice. It takes a good leader who's been there and knows what it's like to achieve, to reach its potential. I've always said in my life, I may not be the best, but hard to beat. And when I talk about stability, one of the key things is how we communicate. And yesterday, you all saw this. The whole state of Hawaii saw everybody vote together. Stability. Somebody had to go there. This is about not removing. This is about resolving. This is about taking that step to include everyone. This is a team sport. I don't want to be Tom Brady. I want to be Bill Belichick. You are the Tom Brady's. But the only way that can happen is with a true leader who can bring everyone together. And that's what I've been speaking to the team. Okay, because the next person who is going to have to deliver as the chair is going to have a tough position. And by God, you need to know what you're doing. All of you has been speaking to my staff. I am so very proud of my staff, and I want to mention my staff, Davis, Price, and Claudine Calpito. But also, I want to mention Kaliko Santos and Noelani Nakasoni back on Kauai. They're just as important too. And and my my wife and kids, of course. But now, when I say communication, that's how you achieve stability. We got to know how to communicate across this table. And we saw that through stability. We got to know how to communicate to our administration. Okay, that's going to happen when you achieve stability. We got to know how to communicate with our staff because we all care equally about our 175 staff, and I want all of you to know. How do you achieve this? Is through gaps. This is what the foundation of who I am. You know, I remember, can I go there? But anyway, I've seen leaders lead, and I've watched leaders be successful. And I've always says, when opportunity exists, if you're not prepared, there's nowhere we're going to be successful. I'm a type of person who can bring people together. You know, people might say, "Oh, I did this and I did that." I just want to say to people, yes, I did. I did. Okay, for the betterment of all of us. Somebody has to do it. I'm not here against anybody over here. And you guys all know I love all of you. But we had to stop the madness. And the madness has stopped. And I want to just end with this. We need new leadership. And the reason why I say this is because when we talk about stability, you know, what I see and what I feel is that the instability is coming from past issues. So I think it's important that all of you guys today choose someone new. Um, I've been the vice chair under Trustee Bob Lindsay, and it's not like I know I can do the job. I know what it takes to get the job done, and I've been involved in a lot of decision making. Um, I just want the chance for all of you to understand that we need new leadership up here, and instability will always carry through us if we're always thinking about the past. So I want all of you guys to vote for somebody new today. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I hope it's permissible to ask the candidates questions. For instance, Dan, you talked about yourself personally, but I would like to know where you intend to take this board. What are your plans for the future? What do you see 2 years from now, OHA doing? What um, what do you see in terms of development? What do you see in terms of programs? I haven't heard you speak one thing about what this office is about, what it offers, and where you intend to take it. Relationships is everything with the legislature and of course with fellow trustees. But um, you know, it's important to know if you're voting for a candidate, what is the motivation? You just want to bring people together, or are you ready to lead this office someplace it has never been? I haven't heard one thing about what you plan to do.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I answer? Um, well, I'm just, again, stability. We have to follow the rules first. We have three other candidates here being recommended. I would like to hear from them first. And then I believe we're going to break it down into just the last two candidates to hear from them again.
So I thought we'd just let everybody speak first.
Okay, whatever you thought is okay with me. So how would you like me to proceed, trustee?
Right? Let everybody speak first, and then the last two, and then you can ask
Yeah.
questions.
I think, Trustee O'Connor, thank you for really directing all your questions towards me. Thank you.
Okay, Hulu. Trustee Hulu, your name is next.
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
Carmen Hulu Lindsay, Maui trustee. Proud to be. I come from a community that I love so dearly, and I love the support that they give me. I serve here with full heart, and I serve for the future of Hawaii as well as our kupuna. I come to Honolulu hopefully to make policy decisions that will affect my grandchildren and their children. I offer myself to the board in in hope that I can bring stability to the board by removing the barrier that divides us and being inclusive of all trustees. I believe that I can lead the board through turbulent times, offering stability and maturity, treating each trustee with respect. In addition, I would aim to repair the strained relationship with administration to create better leadership and progress at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. I would push for training for trustees, staff, and administration to create a better understanding of ethics, procurement, sunshine law, federal and state laws. As chair, some of my objectives would include dividing up the RM committee to reinstate the ARM and Land committee to provide an efficient and manageable progress. A strong recommendation from Spire and Rodney Lee. I would like to be reviewing our strategic plan priorities with an eye towards addressing beneficiary needs by creating, reviewing, and tightening policy. Some of these policies would include research, health initiatives, and as Trustee Lindsay mentioned, bread and butter for our beneficiaries. Making progress at Kaka'ako by developing Lot A as an example of OHA's capabilities. I would like to see hiring a compliance officer internal auditor with oversight over the entire organization to alleviate any unnecessary burden on and between trustees and administration. I leave this with you as my plan and humbly ask for your vote.
Mahalo, Boo and Trustee Colette. Going to speak first. I thought I'd let you speak. Yeah, I'm going to be the last one since I'm the acting chair.
Okay, let me begin. I don't have any prepared statements. I'm quite surprised, Opu Eva, that I'm being nominated to consider for chair. So I come today with a humble heart, and I wanted to reflect what Jermaine Myers presented to us in the attachments. When I was chair at that time, she says there were contradictions during the issue of Kamana Opono's letter that went to Kerry. Contradiction was that it was in an executive session only, where it prohibited any kind of beneficiary comments. And she likened that to how we treated Trustee Akana's action. Um, so if I have hurt you and misunderstood that action, because we have to deal with the chief executive officer, Jermaine, it was intended so we could have that one-on-one with you. But the other half of the article that appeared in the Office of Hawaiian Affairs in KHON that you attach actually acknowledges this, and I want to read it, and I thank you for this, because we cannot move forward if we don't understand how deep the hurts are, and this is what we're feeling now. This is my comments which you underlined in yellow in your attachments to us. It says here, at the time of the discussion, we had no idea that the level of hurt was so deep that we had to take it layer by layer. And I'm so proud that we had that opportunity today with Dr. Kamana Opono Crab. In Ho'oponopono, and there is an unifying effort to move forward. Did we try to move forward? I think we made some big steps, but that failed. Once we were able to release one another from our past transgressions and all of the pilikia that may have been caused either by intention or in addition to something that came through the side door. So to me, I am blessed to have had that opportunity today. And then we'll be moving forward, but looking seriously at some modification or changes to the previous policy on building the Native Hawaiian entity, as Shadow said. I reflect in the manner of saying that there is really such an obvious point of view that some resolution has to be reached out to the CEO's contract. We cannot move forward if we cannot work eyeball to eyeball, as they say, face to face. That's very important. Um, we cannot move without everybody helping one another. It's not a matter of who has this authority, who has that authority. Other things that Trustee Hulu Lindsay raises is during my tenure, which was only 4 years, those were some of the expectations I had driven. We're more experienced now with working with admin. We already know that we're getting nailed at the legislature, that we're top heavy with salaries. We might have to seriously look at that. I know under Trustee Akana, her concern has always been moratorium on employment. We keep hiring people to fill positions, the budget keeps going up. We learned through our resource management committee and our consultant that the unfunded fringe benefits, we need to be careful how we commit to long-term retirement, because that'll just spike up, and whether or not we can still afford that over time is an issue. We have certain things in place that all of us help craft, which is the sustainability plan. We have a request now for go out for what they call a request for qualifications as an audit that our beneficiaries are asking for transparency. All of these things I agree with. I voted in an affirmative. I even accepted the position to serve on the advisory of Trustee Aquino. I look forward to that. So I'm here just saying that my my position as an elected trustee, and I continue on. I did not, when I ran in 1996, I did not anticipate this would be a career. I have been elected 5 times. I'm not the longest standing trustee because Trustee Akana holds that position. But by the end of 2020, I would have served 25 years at this helm, at this table. I have always hoped that I would bring a fairness at the table and to allow my colleagues, honorable colleagues as they are, to contribute and to direct where we would like to go. There are obvious areas that we really need to work on, and it's unfortunate that we've been polarized and cause a lot of attention um, with the conflicts we share with administration. But there are ways of checks and balance. We're reviewing our OHA budget at the lead. Some of those issues come up repeatedly in respective referral committees. It'll go to the Ways and Means and Finance. It'll come back again. Are we spending the money wisely? Where are we using? Because we're asking the legislature to provide for the biennium $4 million to provide for services that we match to our trust funds. All of those things are valuable. But as lawmakers on that other house, they get to scrutinize us and they get to ask hard questions. And they're the one that's actually going to be writing us, as well as you beneficiaries. You folks are relentless. Give yourselves a hand that you guys are relentless. Look at you, Jermaine. You come all the way from Nanakuli. This is your 3rd day you coming.
On the bus.
On the bus. And you stayed to the very end. How about that for your beneficiaries? You folks are relentless. So we hear you folks. That's all I can say to you. But if I'm given that opportunity, I'll continue that approach that I had experienced 4 years ago, when I knew I didn't have the votes to continue as chairperson. They call it the swan dance, yeah. The swan dance. So I said, okay, go ahead, get my blessings. I don't go beef with you or try to struggle and polarize everybody. I said, it's all yours, and I stepped down. I'm not here to make pilikia, but obviously we all have a stake in it, that we want to see this. We want to come out ahead. We cannot do it just by changing leadership. We really got to look hard into our hearts to do what would be best for our people and the generations to follow. So your beneficiaries, keep up the work. You folks are relentless. That's a positive thing, not negative. And I ask the trustees, whoever becomes chair, that we learn to put the swords down and try to work together. Because my comments reflect that it's deep-seated. And how do we bring out all of that so we can embrace one another with sincerity and try to look forward together as a Lahulu. Amen. Thank you.
Mahalo, trustee. My name is in the calabash. I am the acting chair. But before, well, when I became acting chair, I pulled out Peter's February Viola article. I thought this was really good because I was trying to think, gee, what is the biggest challenge? I didn't know how long I was going to be acting. I didn't realize, when I talked to John and some others, you know, the next step, what that would be. But from reading this and from doing some research, the biggest challenge I feel, well, and this is good, this positive outcome of what happened with all this passion that went around the table when former Chair Akana took over the reins. I felt that this passion that was forcing us into serious introspection into where OHA was going. And too bad it became us versus them or me versus him kind of a situation. The biggest challenge I feel is bringing OHA back into balance by first addressing this contentious relationship we have with some trustees and the CEO. Moving ahead, also, I feel with the fiscal sustainability plan, that's my biggest concern. And I was reading the PBN yesterday, and this thing jumped out at me. Responsive, respectful, resourceful. I think that's Alston Hunt's, it's their tagline. Responsive, respectful, and resourceful. I thought, wow, that's great for OHA. Responsive, respond to our beneficiaries, be respectful of each other, and resourceful. That's my forte. It's the business side. That's what I bring to the table. That's how I felt I can help OHA with negotiations going on with Kaka'akumakai as well as with our charter schools. I think big things are going to come for our charter schools with the new Secretary of Education in there. Reaching back into the state constitution, like Peter said, Trustee Apo said, we were created to be a placeholder only to manage our Hawaiian issues. The structure of a nation consists of a language, a culture, traditions, and primary institutions. So I was part of getting that bill in to develop our immersion schools from kindergarten to 6th grade when I was in the House of Rep. We needed a language and we were losing. It was a dying language. How can we have a nation without a language and a culture? So all of these things all really help educate us. I'm talking about us, myself when I was a legislator. How we developed it, and look today we have what, 18,000 Hawaiians? Olelo, I read it someplace in the paper. Oh, what's coming out, your column, about how we have that many that speak fluent Hawaiian. Committing to the fiscal sustainability plan and implementation, the audit's going to help us do that. We have to update our strategic plans, have a goal and objectives to match the objectives to cost centers. We got to know how we're spending our money. So when I looked at becoming the procurement officer, which I didn't know that the chair is also the chief procurement officer for OHA, I looked at the expenditure. We get a purchase order coming in, we attach an object symbol, account code, so we know when we look at that, oh, that's supplies, or that's personnel, A, B. My background is just budget. I'm working at UH for 26 years. Anyway, that's what I bring to the table. And we are a nation in waiting. We have to one day look at unification of our Hawaiian people into a so-called Hawaiian entity. And how we do it will be up to us or the next generation. They're out there, you know, wearing my Mauna Kea. This is to protect us, the board, not only to protect Mauna Kea. It's on the mountain. And you know my position, protect Mauna Kea and not let the TMT be built. If you don't like that, then don't vote for me. That's all I can say. Mahalo. Now the next round, we're going to go and vote for the four.
Yes.
Hey, you need more paper? Oh. Okay, we vote again, trustees, and go into the calabash. Do we vote only one or more than?
Only Only four nominees, right? It's like a primary election.
Okay.
There's four left. So
Okay.
the four, again, are the Trustee Ahuna, Trustee Ahuisa, Trustee Hulu Lindsay, and Trustee Colette Machado. Those are the you can vote for.
Oh, exciting. So who do you want to sing for this round? You have a beautiful voice. Yeah. We're famous people on this table. All this counting. Wow. A song. Y'all can sing it too. Something we.
E kolumeanui makahonu
Kamana'ohi
akamanaohi
o
o
kamana'olana.
ame ke aloha kai uiai
O
o
mai
mai ka
ka'ina
ina
mea
mea
aloha.
o mai ka ina mea
I guess I got a question of process. In this step, um, it says person or persons receiving the lowest number of votes being eliminated until the ballot contains a final two nominations. In this case, we have two people who have the same number of votes and two people who don't have that number. Were you intending to eliminate just the lowest person or the lowest two people, so we end up with two people on this round?
The lowest two out.
Lowest two out. Everybody agree?
Okay.
The remaining top two are Trustees Hulu Lindsay and Trustee Colette Machado. So, final two nominees have a second opportunity to address the board for 5 minutes. That would be Trustee Hulu Lindsay and Trustee Colette Machado.
Aloha mai. I don't have anything new to report or to say. I just want to reiterate that I bring stability to the board by removing the barrier which I have evidenced ever since I got into the board 5 years ago, that divides us and being, I want to especially be inclusive of all trustees. I bring to the board uh, the thought that we are experiencing very turbulent times, and it's not going to be an easy, uh, navigable effort on any person's part, but I am willing to try to bring us together, be able to talk one-on-one on issues so that our table is not explosive. And basically, I offer my experience, uh, my background in government, private entities, and the love of our beneficiaries. I have a very strong desire to listen to their voices. Their voices drives my decisions. And whenever I come to a very difficult issue, I do turn to them. So the decisions I make on this board, I like to think are the decisions of the beneficiaries that I represent. Thank you.
would think after 20 years serving on the board, I would have a lot more to say, but I don't disagree with anything that Trustee Hulu Lindsay has said. It'll look like a construction. We have to rebuild the Holly, and we are still working in construction to shape and redirect things that have not matured as Pono. And that's what we would have to try to do more aggressively and more forthright and more transparently. Never easy being decision making and also policy setters, because that in itself you're kind of engaging to maintain your direction and to uphold whatever you've agreed to pass. Our bylaws, our policies, and our executive manuals are critical to how we operate at this table. We rely on credible staff that we can work with in harmony and unity, and that we would have to work to achieve to not only mirror and reflect our desires, but also the people's desires, our beneficiaries. So I would just say that if I'm given a second chance, what I know now and what I didn't know my first round, I would certainly rely on you to provide me input and direction to do a better job, to do a better job, to represent that we have a solid foundation and that people will not criticize over or look forward to what we come out with. And that's all I have to say from my floor.
Thank you.
Chair, may I open with questions? I have one question for each of the candidates. Thank you. First of all, Trustee Machado and Trustee Hulu Lindsay, thank you for standing for leadership at this time. I respect both of you, and I'm convinced that either of you will make an exceptional leader for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs Board. And I pledge that I will work with you, whoever becomes our chair, to build a strong OHA, financially and in every way, to meet the needs of our beneficiaries. I want to also thank you both, because yesterday you both took the lead in a unanimous vote on this table in order to authorize a special audit. And you both helped to affirm the fact that although we audit, we need more to ferret out any fraud, waste, or abuse. Your task, either of you who is chair, will be to restore the credibility of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs in the eyes of our beneficiaries and in the eyes of the public and the eyes of the media. So I want to ask you a question, and I ask it respectfully, but it's very important. We as a board have unanimously affirmed sending out a proposal for bids for an audit that will ferret out fraud, waste, and abuse. But it's still possible that that audit can be derailed by many means. We could defund the audit. We could minimally fund the audit. We could limit the scope of the audit. So what I'd like to ask each of you is, what is your commitment as chairperson of the board to ensure the integrity of this audit process? How deeply committed are you, and what will you do to ensure that this very important measure for the integrity of our organization is one that succeeds?
For me, a lot of weight will be placed on the advisory committee, which you are involved with. If I'm elected chair, I'll probably ask Hulu Lindsay to replace me. I believe that both your hearts are what we call bounded to do what is right, and the recommendations forthwith will continue to hold weight to our decision making that authorize the qualifications to move forward. So in my perspective as chair, there would be no changes to it, except to increase the outcome as you folks desire. So I don't think you get that pushback from me. I make that commitment.
Mahalo, Trustee Machado.
Thank you, Trustee Kelly Aquino. I agree with Colette, as well as my discussions with you. I am in fully support of that financial audit. I want to clear up any misunderstandings or thoughts that we on the board or our beneficiaries may have about our manner of operations. I want to clear that air so that we can build the trust of our beneficiaries in us again. They need to know that we are wholeheartedly here in support of our mission, which is to improve the conditions of their lives. So this audit is very, very important to me, and I would like to see it go forward as it was outlined yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hulu Lindsay.
Yep, I have a question um, to both candidates. The chief procurement officer's duties lay with the chairman of the board. You know, when I took the chairmanship, I took those duties back. And the reason that I took it back was because we were confronted with, on many fronts, by not just the legislature, but people who didn't win contracts, who complained about grants, about a lot of things that were going on, including complaints from our staff. And I felt that it was important for the trustees to know exactly how the chief procurement officer was indeed spending our money, signing our contracts, and so on. So I still believe that that should remain with the chairman of the board, at least until very certain that everything is in place and we have a special financial officer that is dedicated to the board. Um, I want to know personally, would you keep the chief procurement in your office, Trustee Machado?
In response to you, it's more of a loaded question, Trustee O'Connor, because there's 280 contracts that fall under the procurement review. Yesterday we heard before our RM committee that we're behind in offering a contract, and I'm wondering if that's because of the transition from the administration to you. That's why we're unable to get a new money manager, which is equivalent, the value of that is $20 million. So to me, if it's impeding, if there are areas that trustees can get more information or participate, I'm open to that. But the critical thing is whether or not one office can review 280 contracts. And this is reviewing the scope of services, compliance to the timetable, and the kind of payments that are due timely. So those are some of the critical questions we would have to bear in mind when we look at the role as the chief procurement officer, which is the chair. Right now, you know for a fact that we have inadequate staff to have that type of ability to review and scrutinize. It rests on the chief of staff and the chairman to review. So I do have some issues with that. But to answer you at this point in time, I would return the CPO responsibility to admin simply because there'll be times when we can recall immediately, but they have to defend what needs to be done, not limiting the trustees' participation. And that'll take some time. You know, I think I have to credit you, Trustee O'Connor, because you actually went pop the lid. And some of these things are now, glaring at us, and we cannot just turn our backs and walk away. So the chief procurement office, the CPO status, and the role it plays with the chair will have to be scrutinized more thoroughly than we have. And under my leadership, I just followed suit as past practices with other chairmans did. So now with you bringing this forward to the table, we'll take a much more detailed review about the role it plays.
I have a follow-up. The reason that contract was held up was because it was sent to me. It was for $145,000 to hire a manager, money manager.
Right?
A money manager comes before the board. We are in charge of finances. No staffer should be allowed to send out a contract for $145,000 that has to do with our investments. Our investments are the kuleana of the board. The other thing was there was no RFP. We're being looked at by the state procurement office because we haven't been doing the RFP process. So I wrote back and sent the contract application back saying you needed to do an RFP and this needs to come before for the board because the board is responsible for all of the money managers. Individual employees that work for us um, are not fiduciaries. We're the fiduciaries. We're responsible for the monies that are invested. Therefore, we are responsible for the money managers. Those things have to come to the board. So, I have a very good staff, and we were able to manage a lot of things. And our turnaround time was excellent compared to where things got stuck before for weeks.
I may
But
disagree on the travel for what we call inter-island
okay,
travel
just let me
because that
finish.
falls under you.
Just let me finish. And what I found was that there were so many inconsistencies and complaints that it did take time to review it. But I would be here from early morning, and that's the duties of a chair, to be here all the time. I was here from 8 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, and I took it seriously. I reviewed everything, and I had a person that worked in compliance and knew how these contracts worked and
Trustee
who was
Akana,
what.
can you repeat that?
Okay,
Because
but
other
I
people want to
just
ask
wanted
questions.
to tell you that some of these things are very important, at least in the initial stages, for the trustees to know, because there's so many things, too many things
And
that
I've
go by
agreed with
us,
you on that, Trustee Alcona.
that we have to know about. And that wasn't the only contract that was going to go out,
Okay,
simply by
Trustee
staff.
Hulu. Oh, yeah, she needs to speak.
I would, initially, I would hold on to the procurement, um, only because I think it is our responsibility. It's our fiduciary responsibility to know where every penny of OHA's money is. And when you're not into the procurement process, you don't know what's going on. I don't think that I would withhold all of the procurement. I think I would release the everyday goings on to our CEO, but I think that I would withhold those that make a difference in amounts and what have you. Um, I also would depend a lot on the relationship between administration and the board so that they are there to do the work of OHA. We are all OHA. We're not separated, and it should never be separated. So let's say the chair approves a procurement. It goes back to the CEO, and they'll process it. They do everything, you know. We can establish committees here on the board, and then ask our administration to implement. That's what it is. We're policy here, and their implementation there. So the main decisions belong here on the board, and we're responsible. When things go wrong, that's our kuleana. And I think it will lighten our administration's burdens. You know, I mean, our CEO has taken a lot of flack because he has a lot of kuleana that probably should have been here. Thank
Or
you.
the guidance wasn't given also to the administration. Anybody else wants to ask a question?
I just have one thing to clear up. Um, when I took the chief procurement officer's hat, I met with Judge Klein and we met with Ernie Kimoto. And we wanted to divide up. I didn't want to do the pencils and the small stuff, but Ernie was tasked to make a chart on what would be the kuleana of the administration and what would be the kuleana of the board. We never got that chart ever, ever. So that's why everything was coming to me, and that's why that happened, Colette. I just wanted to.
Thank you for that clarification,
Thank you.
Trustee O'Connor. That's helpful because we want to find that chart if we can find
I
it.
don't think he made it before he left.
But we can start it up again.
Yeah, coming out.
Um, Trustees, just to clarify, you sent three memos to Trustee Akana regarding the delegation of authority. When you look at the delegation of authority, it tells you what uh, what the um, who has the authority within the organization, from manager to director to chief operating officer to CEO to board. So, and in addition to that, we also wrote, Corp Counsel wrote a memo in terms of how the structure of procurement is processed.
So we believe that we were giving information so that the CPO can make an appropriate decision in terms of their powers. So the delegation of authority was asked for administration to revise, but it's difficult for us to revise when we don't know what the CPO requests are. So I just want to make that really clear. Information was given to the CPO to make a decision.
Yeah, Trustee Alpo had an ad hoc committee on policies, and I reviewed it. Very good. He worked with you, so there are recommendations where you agreed, disagreed.
Right.
That has to come before the board too, so you can see that they are working on this relationship. Trustee Alpo, you have any questions for them? Are you ready to vote again? Okay. Here's your little papers, and baby has a calabash bowl. So excited. Jokes.
I heard you sing though.
I used to sing at church, alto.
Yep.
I sang in the church choir. Mormon, we all gotta sing. Either you want me to sing?
Song of sovereignty, your voice upon the winds. Join the voices of the ages. Song we should not be afraid to sing. We are native to this land. Let us walk hand in hand. We are children of the sea. We are joined by the spirit of ancestral dignity. Sing a song of sovereignty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good singers.
Madam Chair, this is not a song, but a historical note, if I make one quickly.
Want to sing too?
No, just want to say happy birthday to King Kamehameha IV. He gave a land grant to the my mother's great-great-grandfather, Lupe Nui, and we honor him today, King Kamehameha IV.
Okay, by a very close vote, the new chair, congratulations, is Colette Machado.
Oh,
Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Way to vote on confidence. We all have to work harder together and with love and unity in our hearts. This is carried.
And thank you, Trustee Hulu, for standing for leadership.
okay, so she can Colette. Okay, Colette.
And make Jonathan the vice chair.
There's a few more items on the agenda, so the new chair can take over.
Colette, you're the new chair.
I could stay here.
So I asked Justice if I'm the acting chair, so I go back vice chair, and he said no, the whole thing out and new people come in. So I'm not the vice chair anymore. So you don't want to take over. That's the only other thing
I
on
was
our
just going
agenda.
to stay here and conduct the chairmanship from this side. You stay
Oh,
up
oh,
there.
okay, okay.
Members, let us move now to, we're still under new business, Roman numeral 4, B, assignment of committee chairpersons and vice chairperson. In a democratic process, we can begin to look at we have two standing committees. We have the RM committee and we have the BAE. So let's do it the same way. Give us some more slips. Let's pass it around. Let's look at nominations to
Okay.
serve as the RM committee. And then we'll go through our process to elect the chairperson for the RM committee. Is that okay, no? Chair and vice chair, yes. Vice chair of the board. Okay, it just says here committee. Okay,
Vice chair first? Vote again?
so we're gonna proceed now. I've been corrected by my two esteemed colleagues here. We should move to elect the vice chair of the board.
Okay. That motion, please.
We are now looking for nominees that could serve as the vice chair. Were you still talking to me?
For the for this position, if someone gets 5 votes, can we just call it a day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you want to
We stay
yes.
until lunchtime.
Yeah, whatever.
No democracy in action.
So members, we're now waiting for the results of the BOT vice chair. They will proceed to the committees.
Hoping for 5 here. Okay, no one achieved 5 votes. There's a tie for the top 2 and a tie for the last 2. There's
Top
4
two.
people who got votes. So how do you want to handle
The top two.
Okay. Top 2 or just keep on going? Top 2?
Top two.
Okay. That would be a tie between Trustee Hulu Lindsay and Trustee Dan Ahona.
Um, Members of the board.
May I ask a question first? Is there any restriction upon a vice chair serving as a committee chair? It's possible.
Possible.
Thank you.
I wanted to say that I am interested in stability and continuity of the RM committee. And with the permission of the board, I'd like to give the vice chair to Dan Ahuna.
Let's see. Okay. Is that okay?
Congratulations, Vice Chair.
Vice Chair will be Dan Ahuna.
Okay, members, in a like manner, first committee that's up for consideration is our Resource Management Committee for the chairperson. Please provide individual names. You've already heard a request from Trustee Hulu Lindsay that she would like to chair the RM committee. Please vote accordingly.
Madam Chair, I just would like to respectfully decline any nominations to any of the positions, just to save a vote, just in case.
The vice chair.
Yes.
No,
No, this is the chair for
RM
RM.
chair. RM chair.
RM chair. Felicidades, Hulu. Congratulations. In a similar manner, we're looking for someone to chair the vice chair with Hulu. Is there some recommendation you would like to consider a trustee around the table to serve? Yeah. So do you have what you, okay. Okay, let's do a nomination then for the vice chair of the RM committee. Yeah, I'm just going to be honest. I nominate John Whitehead.
Oh.
John, would you be willing to serve?
Yeah, I guess. I'm voting for vice. Well, that's what I know. I guess I'm agree with you.
Nearly unanimous, John Wahay.
Yay.
We can't agree. Good job.
I mean, I was going to ask.
Okay, I actually asked Trustee Robert Lindsay first. He asked me to ask the Jeffrey Khan. I go back to him. Are you willing to serve as the chair of BAE? Okay, thank you, Robert Lindsay. Shall we vote now and then come back for the vice chair?
Elections.
Okay.
Okay,
Five vote. We can change to a show of hands as long as you have
okay.
five
Is there a
votes.
show of hands to support Bobby Lindsay as the BAE chair?
Okay.
Okay, cut down my losses. Okay.
Okay, thank you, your chair.
Trustee Alhuna, would you mind serving as his vice chair? So, Bobby Lindsay, you are the chair of the BAE, and we need a vice chair, and I've asked Trustee Alhuna if he would be willing to serve as the vice chair. Is there any objections? Okay, so the committee, let me review the committee chairmanship. We have Trustee Hulu Lindsay as the resource management chair, and the vice chair is John Wahe the fourth. The beneficiary advocacy empowerment chair is Trustee Robert Lindsay, and the vice chair is Trustee Dan Ahuna. That constitute the leadership of our board of trustees. The vice chair of the BOT is Dan Ahuna, and I am the newly elected chair. Thank you for your confidence for all of this new leadership. May God be with us. So let's see. Let's
Madam Chair.
announcements.
Actually, I just like to offer a couple of. Oh, Madam Chair. Hey. Um, just want to offer a couple of remarks. First of all, I want to thank our beneficiaries for helping us through a really tough time. I think the healing has begun. I think the process that we elected in openness and offering opportunity for us to look each other in the eye and talk story and fair and was open. So I think we're on our way to a great new future. Um, Mark's hitting a reset button on a lot of important issues. So I thank all of you, and I especially thank our beneficiaries for stepping forward and helping usher us through this. Mahalo.
Trustee Dan Ahuna.
Oh, well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Trustee Colette Machado. Congratulations for being the new chair. I think it's important that what you saw on the table today is very important to our beneficiaries. You know, what's going on today is, you know, people behaving positive, and that's what we look forward to in your leadership in the future. So I just want to say congratulations and thank you. And thank you, Trustee Leahuisa, for doing all of this. Thank you.
Then you need stability, so that's me.
Yeah. If there's no other comments or any kind of announcement, I'd like to seek a motion to
So move, Chair.
adjourn. There's been a second by Trustee Hulu Lindsay. Anybody disagrees? Did you have a comment before we adjourn?
Kuli hofu mamua ka
Okay.